Hi, I'm Jess. I'm 26 and living in Shanghai, China. There's a lot that's brought me here, and my everyday learning keeps me here. I've traveled, made friends, and even found love. You know, the concept of love abroad is strange and interesting, and this is what I want to explore. So, I just want to take time to talk about this, and I told myself just because it's never good to build up anger, and it's never good to harp on something because it really eats you inside internally, and I'm sure everyone knows this. So I'm going to talk about this on video, and I promised myself I wouldn't talk about it again. So yesterday, the most bizarre thing happened to me, and again, maybe I shouldn't expect it to be so bizarre because it's China and anything can happen, right? So I've been trying to find a gym. I've been training jiu-jitsu, but I really want to go swimming because I hate running, and it's just the Zumba, going to a Zumba studio is really expensive for me right now. And even though I teach Zumba and I should just really dance by myself, but again, another story. And me and my boyfriend decided to, he tried to help me find a gym in the area that offers a pool as well as a gym. And we go into this gym, and it's really nice, and it's well organized, super clean, except for the cockroaches I found when I was trying to leave. But anyway, besides that, super clean. And it had the most amazing pool. It was big, and it's not a lot of people, and I could actually lap swim, which I need to get back into, because when I was younger, I used to do competitive swimming, and I taught swimming for the longest time and everything. So it would be nice to get back into it. But so we're sitting down to get the pricing for the pool and for the gym and everything, and the guy asked my boyfriend, and again, keep in mind this is all in Chinese because we're in China, and he goes to my boyfriend and says, "Oh, I heard we've never had black people here before, and I've heard about different things or different diseases or something along these lines, or I'm not sure. Does she have skin diseases?" And it makes me, I was really offended by hearing this because, of course, I don't have skin diseases, and I'm already really sensitive about my skin, and I'll get into more about my thought process in this whole thing. But then my boyfriend proceeds to, as I'm being offended, my boyfriend proceeds to say, "Oh, being in China, it's like when you have a new person, it's like having a new plant in an environment. You're introduced to something new." I'm just like, "Ted, we're all people." It's not I understand there's certain factors that make people different, but I think the fact that he would even ask me that kind of made me really upset because it basically I was alone in the situation. No one understood me. So I cried it out because it was just angering that although I'm a person, I'm living here, it's 2016, people still have these mentalities. And okay, so back to my thought process here. I'm more so angry about the whole thing because number one, I've lived, as I mentioned, I've taught swimming. I've never had a problem going to a pool no matter where I've been in the world. And someone just based on my skin color asked me if I had diseases, and Ted proceeded to tell me stories that he's had classmates ask him about his black friends and about the possibility they have AIDS or some things like that, which is, as opposed, I think, is a for most people in the West. And again, I don't want to try to classify, but this is again my observation. It just seems like it's not so much a malicious thing, it's just a thing of ignorance where if you don't hang out with a lot of black people, how are you supposed to know if they have skin diseases, if you're only going by what you see on TV and the media or what people have told you about their interactions with people of color. So I'm going through this whole I've been brewing this inside, it's 2016, people shouldn't think like this, but at the same time, people have, if you're in China, like people haven't experienced people of color, I mean, let alone white people, let alone, you know, any person that isn't Asian or isn't Chinese. So I've been really confused, and it just, for me, it really hurts me. And on top of that, with Ted's response, that kind of hurts me as well, because it just, I think in that place he didn't really think about it from my perspective, which it's his right. Like, it's not his right. I don't. That's not the right word to say, but it's because he's not a foreigner, because he's not like black, he can't understand my perspective, and this is kind of the underlying base which makes our relationship okay, because we always have this understanding, like, okay, I'm not Chinese, I don't understand Chinese culture. You're not American, you're not black, you're not, you know, a foreigner. You'll never understand what foreigners go through. But we basically talked about it, and, you know, Ted was like telling me, like, you know, you have to ignore people like this. It's like there's people that have what he calls like quote unquote farmer mentality, which I don't know if like farmers should be, you know, offended by this, but it's, for me, it's hard, and it's just like it just makes me feel really weak here, I guess, is the main thing. It's like I feel like I just want to be comfortable. Like, I just want to live my life comfortably in a different country, but is being in China, it's like a completely different culture, is that ever going to be possible? And if it is, it's like, do I stay and just be strong and, you know, realize that this is the base, the belly of the, not belly of the beast, it's just the nature of the beast of living in China as a foreigner, especially as a black woman foreigner of color. Not black woman foreigner of color. A black woman of color. No! I mean a person of color that happens to be female in China. And, or do I go home and go back to comfort, go back to making more money, go back to, you know, living life how it was before I left a year and a half ago? So, I mean, make your comments, like, for people living out there in foreign countries, what, have you experienced something like this before? If, you know, if you haven't lived abroad, if you have any other questions, if, you know, if there's something that, you know, outrages you and there's a response I should have had, or, you know, there's something that maybe I'm not understanding and you want to point that out, please, this is what I'm doing this for, because I want to get other people's perspectives, and I want to basically share my perspective, because, hey, everyone has a story, right? Okay, bye.